What's up, y'all? It's your boy, Coach B.
And so now,
Hey, y'all, listen, man. I brought my daughter on here, first and foremost. If you listen to the video, thanks for sharing. Thanks for liking it. Again, these kids have been going through this pandemic time, and we've been thinking about, like, how can we actually make an impact? And maybe your child life, my child life, just additional. And so now I want to be an actor, of course. She plays softball. She does basketball. She's my oldest daughter. And so I said, you know what? Well, what's going on during this pandemic? And so I was like, yo, you feel like sitting down talking to dad? You know what I'm saying? Why not? Come on and Cammy and Coach B thing. But anyway, so I got Sanaa here. And so the conversation is, for one, Sanaa, what type of, since this pandemic has hit, as you've been a young person in middle school, in elementary/middle school, what's really been going on during you guys seeing this pandemic, realizing like, yo, this is crazy for one.
I know.
And so it's like, so what's talk to us? Like, I mean,
So it's okay. So the pandemic is really a lot.
Yeah, it is.
And there's kids who aren't being able to do everything that they want to, and there's kids growing up in like this generation, and they're just used to computers, phones, all sorts of stuff. We're kind of turning into robots. And the thing is, we can't do all the stuff we want to do because of Corona.
Do that sometime like impact a kid morale? Like, so one day you happy, one day you sad, because now you're around your friends, then you go back into like back.
Yeah, because there's some kids who just like they don't feel like they're with anybody and they feel alone, even with their family and stuff, and they just mostly want to be with their friends, you know?
Yeah.
But I guess you have to realize that family is more important than friends when it comes.
Well, that's true too.
And Corona kind of brought people like together to hang out with their family more,
true.
even though they had no choice in the first place.
Right.
Because you had the quarantine and stuff like that.
Right. So with that being said, of course, some of my parents out there that may know some kids is dealing with a lot. Dealing with one, flexibility, two, being stable. I think three, morale, like getting your child involved in different stuff. So this is something that we're doing with our family, and I don't know if you guys doing it at all, but I know Sanaa plays sports, but we also want them to feel like other stuff that we're doing, correct? So like Sanaa knowing we do our property, we doing different stuff that we're involved, and so we really have them involved in it. And the reason why we don't I play ball, I play sports. Be honest to you, it's a short period of time. And after that, real life hits you. So now, what have you been getting in that experience? Being that young, because some parents want to show their kids, or some young kids don't know how to explain to us. Like, we talked to you about it. Break it down for me. Like, what have you been getting out of that? Hasn't been working.
What do you mean by that? Do you mean like what do you mean by that? Like, I'm still confused.
So meaning by like, how has it affected you? Have you realized like what we're doing really matters, or do you feel like, we just wasting our time?
I feel like it does matter, because in the future, when you use certain things that you're doing now, it could like really affect your future. Like it'll either affect it in a bad way or a good way, but it's still good to try, no matter if it's bad or good.
So what you learning from it though? Like what you learning to really? Because when I was young, I didn't have that. First of all, you couldn't go into the household and say like, oh, my parents own this. Like, so what has that? And then I'm still in education. So what has that really impacting you as to see that though? How does that make you feel? Like just overall?
Like, I guess it makes me feel all right, because you have to think about like what's gonna happen, like if something goes wrong. But it's like right down the middle.
So explain. So all right. So it's like down the middle, and that's like, is that like kind of saying like, this is you're nervous for your parents, or you actually saying, wow, I have to own this? Do you feel?
I think it's more of like the good side. Okay. Because I think it's like a good thing that you guys are doing this. And some people might really want to go and do the stuff that you guys are helping them with.
Yeah.
And I think people are going to be grateful. And I don't really know.
Okay.
I think I'm more like the good side though, like the happy side, and I think this is good. I should own it. My parents should be proud, and
So this is the thing I always ask them. Now I said, well, you gotta practice of everything that you want to do, right? So you want to do acting, you want to do like the podcast stuff like we doing. So what's making you been, or how can some parents don't? We try to figure out what's best for our kids. Is that a good sign or bad sign? Cause we try to tell them like, yo, like, I'd be like, nah, you need to play. And you look like, nah, Dad, I ain't doing basketball today. Like, nah, I ain't doing it. So, I'm just saying, what, from a kid standpoint, opening up to your dad, how does that, because some parents really force their kids to constantly do it. And then that can lead to depression, so how do you feel on that? What's your opinion on that? Do you feel like parents should force their kid to doing it? Or do you feel like it'll be naturally coming in?
I think kids should have like an opinion. If a parent asks them, like, say, you want to do this, and they say no, you should like dig deeper into things that you think your child would like. If they say no to that, you like open up to them and you're like, hey, what would you like to do? And I guess most parents want like sports to keep their kids active,
Right, yeah,
that's that's mostly why people want sports.
Yeah.
So I guess if there's another thing that the child wants to do that's active, keeps their brain, pumping and stuff like that, they can cooperate.
Yeah, cooperate. Yeah.
So, mostly it would be great if like some parents gave their kids opinions, because like you said, that affects their mental health if they just be forced to do everything that they don't want to do for the rest of their life.
I mean, but I think as a parent, I'm speaking from a parent, I think we really don't want nothing to happen to you guys. So you guys been actively involved, give us more, like we see it, we can believe it, and we can know you can live up your dreams to whatever you want to do. So with that being said, I think most parents, we necessarily believe in saying if our kids are actively involved, like, yo, like you have a goal, like we might can get some tuition paid for, you know what I'm saying? And so that's what a conversation, I think, where we just understand it, and me and your mom, where we understand like, some of the decision has to come from you. Dedication, workouts, and stuff like that, it has to come with you, because if you're not motivated, then it's wasting our time. Like I tell you, like even in school, like you just can't do it. Anything that I may have missed, may want to talk about as a young person to a parent that some parents need to know and some parents may not want to know?
Okay, so one thing that I think parents should know is that, okay, so I understand this when you say that parents do this right away, like tuition can get paid for and that type of stuff. But I'm just saying, after all that, the sports and stuff, let your child have an opinion, let them do what they want to do. Because they did what you want to do now, so it's over with that. Don't start, like, recommending stuff to them again if they don't seem interested in it. Ask them, hey, what do you want to do, because that helps them think, I can open up to my parents if I want to do this.
That's
I can
good.
Just be like, hey, can I do this?
Yeah, that's good. No, I mean, because you did it. I mean, so that's a great example. I mean, because you felt, Dad, I like basketball, I like softball, but then I want to try something else. And I was like, well, you can't quit it. I said, we can't quit, but let's try it. Let's do it. And so acting and music and all that great stuff, but I'm like, yo, like, this is part of life. Like, this is your life. So, and so at this time, I think we're taking, how they say, no weapons formed against you shall prosper. So we're blessing you to understand, like, yo, this is pretty much how we want to build a relationship with our child, where it's open, where you feel freely to come to us. But that's kind of good you said that. I gotta think about that, because I think sometimes us parents, and I can say this for most parents, we don't value our kids' decision. Because when I came up, you ain't had no option. You ain't had no opinion. It's like, yo, do what I say, or you gonna get that smack down straight up like that. So, I mean, it's a lot of stuff to impact kids' life that you can actually do. Music, acting, stuff like that. You can actually really do into your child's life. So, and also just to add, I don't focus, and me and my wife, we love education, but we don't really focus on education. And so we really look at real life, parents. Like we really, we really talk about investments. We really talk about stocks. We really talk about like building or real estate and properties. And because I think our kids, black kids, one, you gotta know. Like we didn't know. Like we'd have been so advanced on the game if we'd have known what we know today. Like we and so that's the level that we have to have as parents. Like, yo, we gotta really expect more from our kids instead of what we was taught to know. That makes sense?
Yeah, because like, okay, I think this is what you're trying to say. Like how you were raised as a kid shouldn't affect how you're raising your kid. Now.
That's right. That's right. That's what I'm trying to say now. For real.
And when you said like, we know now that what we used to know is because now we're used to like, you're investing, getting houses and stuff like that to prepare for the future. And that makes sense because before we didn't know this coronavirus stuff was going to happen, pandemic, all of that. And you gotten used to investing because you're like, oh, look at this and that. Oh, we should do this and that. So yeah.
Yeah, so thanks for clearing that up. So now you sound ain't she so etiquette already? She getting this thing going, y'all. But so to finish up, and I don't want to be too long, what's some final words that you could tell some young person out there? Some motivation, some young person that's confused, they depressed, they don't know what's going on, and they don't know how to communicate with their parents, like you just said.
So one thing I think that young kids should do right now is I think maybe try to open up to your parents. And I know you're probably thinking like, oh, well, they're not going to listen to me, this, that. Just try. If it doesn't work out, then, you have to reach out to other people who you trust. And they can help you.
When you say reaching out, is that like a dad, an uncle? Who are you reaching out to? Because I like how you say
anybody who like you trust, your family. It could be somebody at your school.
Okay.
Somebody to help you get there. That's not gonna sit there and cause trouble and make the situation worse.
I like that. So I don't know about reaching out to everybody, but
not everybody.
Yeah. Okay. So listen, because some people can be bad advice. Okay. But I do like the conversation how you said reach out to someone that you could trust. And that maybe inside a school setting, maybe like your aunt or someone that you really close to, kind of. I like that. So to all my parents, there's one thing I can say, man. Be open. Let's be prayerful. Because me and my wife always talk about praying over your kids at night, letting them know about God, of course, and living their daily life. So I think that's something that we stable. My wife does it all the time. But I just knowing like, praying over your kids and showing them how to pray. Sanaa does really good and praying and do really good and blessing her younger siblings. So hats off to you on that. But some younger people that's actually watching the video, like, yo, listen, we're talking about doing a group kids podcast with Sanaa. So if you interested, send us a DM, shoot us some information. We can put you on a podcast with her. You can be one of our guests involved in the conversation. Yo, it's a platform now for younger people. And I think that's the biggest goal. I think that's one of the biggest needs. And like Sanaa said, yo, it's not our goal, it's their goal. And it's their life, right? So any final words?
Goodbye, I guess.
All right, so you heard it. Peace and blessings. This is your boy, Coach B.
And Sanaa.
Peace. We out.